Let us pray. Almighty God, the creator and ruler of heaven and earth, we beseech thee to inspire and guide all our actions so that we may always walk in the path of justice, love, and charity to one another. Help us with thy grace to do only those things that promote the unity, peace, happiness, and prosperity of Nigeria in general and Lagos State in particular. Amen. Good morning, distinguished colleagues. You are all welcome to this sitting. Our majority leader, as a shepherd, they need to coordinate your sheet that we have resumed the scanty position of the LSHA is not good enough. We have resumed since yesterday. I think they should be alive to their responsibility. We can't continue with this. If I agree with what happened yesterday, I think there should be a change today. So we are still having a lot of them, not being around today. Please, kindly do something about it. Yeah, let us go through the fourth term proceedings of Monday night, 15th October 2019. Oh, sorry. We actually had almost full house yesterday. They only came late. We had about 28. Page 778. Page 7. Honorable Agunbade.
778, sir. I wish to say, sir, that Honorable Kazim arrived to send him where he said that he is sick and is hospitalized. So, Honorable Kazim is sick and hospitalized. So, he sent him where today. I think he should be after the speech. Thank you.
May Almighty Allah grant him good health.
Amen. Thank you.
Can you do the adjustment, Mr. Clark? 779 780. Honorable Tunde Ibrahim.
Mr. Speaker, good morning, sir. Esteemed colleagues, please permit me to observe on page 779, under item 4, sir, where Mr. Speaker thank members for the successful conduct of the meetings held across the state. Mr. Speaker actually went further to make a very germane and very important remark, where Mr. Speaker said that there will be a need for a comprehensive review of what had happened in the past, what the response or the activities of the executive in respect of meetings previously held will have to be reviewed at a point in time. I think that's very important to be part of what was recorded for that ambit, sir. And secondly, sir, under item 5, on the low rung of the item 5 on the low rung of the page, talking about HAB number 25, sir. I observed that it was written as that the third reading of the Lagos State Health Scheme Amendment Bill be read a third time. I think maybe it should be that the bill for Lagos State Health Scheme be read a third time, not the third reading read a third time. Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah, thank you for your observation. I have examined the fruits and proceedings of Monday, 15 October 2018, and approval is hereby granted. Any message from the governor?
Honorable Speaker, sir, distinguished honorable members, there is no message from the governor.
Any other announcements?
Mr. Speaker, sir, honorable members, we received a letter from the Office of the Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice addressed to the Clerk of the House titled Lagos State Audit Amendment Bill 2018. With your kind permission, sir, I wish to read a summary of the letter as follows. Section 1 of the Lagos State Audit Law 2015 established the State Audit Service Commission and vested it with the responsibility of advising the state government on policy issues relating to audit matters and other ancillary subjects. The Commission has requested for a review of the audit law to address some noticeable flaws associated with the implementation of the law. It has therefore proposed the amendment of sections 21 to 26 and 49 to 50 of the audit law in order to extend the applications to the local governments, since there are no corresponding statutory provisions in the state for the Office of the Auditor General for Local Governments. 60 copies of the Lagos State Audit Amendment Bill 2018 have been forwarded to the Office of the Clerk of the House for the consideration of the Assembly. Signed, Mr. M. Adeniji Kazim, Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice. That's all, sir.
Thank you. Petition,
None, Mr. Speaker, sir.
matter of other public importance, none. Personal explanation, none. Reports, none. Yeah, Majority Leader.
Right, Honorable Speaker, distinguished colleagues, we have before us this morning House of Assembly motion number 61, supported, sponsored by Honorable Olawale A.O. as the prime mover and supported by other honorable members, including Oshinowo S.A., Makinde R.I., Ogundimu O., Mrs. Miranda Akonde O.V., Layode I.O., Kazim R.A., and Mrs. Shangodara. With your kind permission, Mr. Speaker, may I invite the prime mover to present his motion. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Go ahead, Honorable.
Thank you, sir. The Right Honorable and my distinguished colleagues, motion number 61 that deals with need for proper monitoring of the abattoirs and the mode of transportation of meat within the state. This House knows the huge investment of Lagos State government in the agricultural sector over the years, especially on the purchase of modern machines for slaughtering and processing of meat in hygienic manner to prevent outbreak of diseases in the state abattoirs. Further notes with concern the condition of abattoirs within the Lagos metropolis, the neglect of facility provided by government, and referring to slaughtering and processing of meat in open, crude, filthy, and unhygienic methods by butchers, including ancillary workers. This House is aware that Section 8(1) B, C, F, G, H, J, K, L, and 3 of the Meat Inspection Law Cap M3, Volume 8, Laws of Lagos State of Nigeria 2015 provides inter alia. D, for securing the inspection of animals intended for slaughter and carcass for the purpose of ascertaining whether meat intended for human consumption is fit for such consumption. C, for requiring the staining or sterilization in accordance with the regulations of meat which is unfit for human consumption or thought not fit for human consumption. F, the branding of things or other containers of meat or products of meat, and the branding of packages containing any such things or containers. G, the storage and treatment of meat intended for human consumption, and receptive processes in respect of such meat. H, the destruction or the disposal of any animal carcass or meat which is deceased. K, prescribing the method of slaughter which are not humane. L, imposing penalty for offences against regulation made under meat inspection law not exceeding a fine of 90,000 naira or imprisonment for 6 months or both. Number 3, the Commissioner for Agriculture and Cooperative shall take such steps as he may think expedient for causing the publication of code of practice in connection with matter or purposes which may be the subject of regulation under this section for the purpose of giving advice and guidance to persons responsible for compliance with such regulations. Mr. Speaker, sir, this House is disturbed that many years after the meat management was revolutionized, the industry in the state is yet to adjust effectively since animal dung as well as farm with stench and blood spatter are still found in and around the abattoirs. This House is further disturbed that most of the butchers and other abattoir workers do not adhere to slaughterhouse rules, including wearing of gloves, dedicated uniforms, and rubber boots. We are concerned that meat is still conveyed from abattoir on motorbike, car, trunk, and other illicit means with impunity in the state. Mr. Speaker, sir, this House observed that abattoir business is a fully automated and highly regulated industry with extended value chain that can boost the economy of the state and also provide gainful employment to residents. But worries that should the state government not carry out stringent official supervision, the current method of meat processing that is prevalent across the state will continue, while the mother abattoir will be abandoned and the huge investment made so far on it will constitute waste. Thank you, sir. Then, this House resolved to call on His Excellency, Mr. Akinwumi Ambode, Governor of Lagos State, to direct as follows: the Commissioner for Agriculture to ensure strict compliance with the slaughtering regulation by butchers across the abattoir in the state. The Commissioner for Agriculture should mandate state officials in the Ministry of Agriculture to embark on continuous stringent supervision that will ensure that hygienic method of meat processing is adhered to by butchers across the state, while the abandoned mother abattoir must be resuscitated and put to use promptly, and that the meat inspection officer across the state should monitor the manners of transportation of meat from the abattoirs to conform with the methods stipulated by law and penalize defaulters accordingly. I so move, sir. Thank you, sir.
Honorable Tabo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise to second the motion.
All in favor say aye. Those against nay. The ayes have it. Honorable Bisi Yusuf.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I have to commend the prime mover of this motion. Mr. Speaker, the condition of abattoirs, the main abattoir at Okwaba is horrible. Mr. Speaker, the meat processed in that very area are not okay for consumption. Right from the gate of the abattoir to the main bowl of the abattoir is nothing to write home about. It's so dirty, irritating, and filthy that the meat there, if you visit the place, you will not be able to eat meat for a long period. Mr. Speaker, the abattoir in Lagos State is not meant for that place alone. All spread across the 57 local government and beyond. What I want to say, Mr. Speaker, is the inspectorate of the Ministry of Agriculture. These are the inspectors that are supposed to see the meat before they slaughtered and after the slaughtering, which the veterinary doctors will call ante-mortem and post-mortem. They have not been carrying out this. In fact, we have dead animals being pretended that they are slaughtering it, and which is not good for consumption. The diseases are there. The inspectorate have to have a clinical outfit where they will be able to test the meat before it was slaughtering, before it's slaughtering and after the slaughtering. All these things are not there again. Mr. Speaker, it is not enough to make this motion. It's better to call the Commissioner for Agric to give an emergency power and the concessionaire that is operating that very place to come and explain to us why this condition is still existing in the state where we regarded as the state of excellence. Mr. Speaker, I feel that this is a very good motion, and I want my colleague also to give it a very good support. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Kasulu.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This motion before us today is definitely very apt, and according to the Nigeria Incentive-Based Risk Sharing System for Agricultural Lending, as far back as 2016, it shows that about 1.6 billion naira is consumed based on cattle, and you can just imagine how many people consume this cattle, and it obviously has to be very hygienic for such purposes. So, in essence, there should be a total calm down exercise continually done across all these abattoirs to encourage further the proper monitoring of the abattoirs that we have and the illegal ones that are existing within the state, including the mode of transportation within the state. We have abattoirs across Agege, Ikorodu, Abaradagri, and other axes that need to be properly looked into for general management, and so far it is commendable that the state government has looked into it, but the evaluation and monitoring team of the state and the Ministry of Agriculture to look more into that area should be saddled with the responsibility to further encourage them in the way they handle the process of meat and the transportation. However, for a state that is moving towards a smart city and the risk that is involved in terms of health of the citizens of Lagos State, it is totally and absolutely necessary that this motion is taken and put forward to the executive to direct them further as to the process to properly secure the meat handling and the enforcement. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This motion is
Honorable
quite apt.
Buliwu.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker and my colleagues. Well, it is important for us to be able to have some background information before we will appreciate this motion better. Well, the centralization of the slaughtering of animals, of cows at Agege Abattoir, that is the one at Okoba, is very high. And daily, at that place alone, the animals slaughtered there is about 1,200. And that is on the average, high or low. That is, can even be low, it can be low. But on a weekly basis, that is, they have about 7,200 cows being slaughtered at abattoir. And we have other smaller abattoirs that are not well equipped, like the one at Okoba, which really scatter around the state. And daily basis, they are really having to cope with about 2,500 cows. So, and when you look at what is happening at Okoba, which is the main one, that is highly centralized of activities there. And directly, we have about 800 workers that are really working directly, and not less than about 5,000 indirect workers in that particular place. That place is like a town on its own. The equipments are there. They have 2 channels, functioning equipments that are really in operation as I'm talking now. But it is not being used for various reasons. And I think there were efforts by the Ministry of Agri sometimes to co-opt both the various organizations or associations at Abattoir to Kenya to look at their system and try as much as possible to copy it at Abattoir here in Lagos, but it's not functioning. They had their mind that no, there is no way you can slaughter cow without being prey into it and all those things. So they decided, they just used that as an excuse anyway, but they decided to be going manual, not really going through the normal mechanized one. But the problem is this: highly centralized activities. If the abattoir at Okoba is being decentralized, we can solve the problem of transportation to a larger extent. We have other minor ones at other areas or at other local governments, like the one at Apapa, the one in Badagry, and the rest of the state. So we can try as much as possible to bring in private investors to all these things. That will help. It will go a long way to help to really make this operation more swift, perfect, and it will be more. It will make activities more hygienic. Also, the government should just, face the aspect of regulations. The government should not really be the one to provide for everything. We are talking about the vet doctors and all the inspectors, inspectory agencies. Government cannot provide everything, except we bring in the PPP arrangement. That will really go a long way to really help them. Looking at this motion is a very good one, but we should really add to it the aspect of decentralization of the abattoirs. The concentration at Okoba is very high, and the animals, the cows being slaughtered there on daily basis, is even a ranch on its own. So I will want all this area to be looked into. If we can add them to it, it will make it more and close to perfect. Thank you.
Honorable Jimo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The motion is very apt, especially when it's coming on a day that has been marked for World Food Day. It is important to discuss this matter. As I've said, Mr. Speaker, our problem really is not about the methodologies being used in the abattoir. We have identified the problem in abattoirs. It's how to change the problem that we have. I can say it, sir. Some of us in the state, we don't know the number of abattoirs that exist in the state. There are illegal abattoirs that are existing within the states. The moment we don't take serious steps in addressing that, we'll be recording all these issues that we are bringing before the House. I'm aware that the law that regulates this abattoir is okay for the state. But if non-existing abattoir, fake abattoir, illegal abattoir are existing somewhere, it will be a problem to the state. We need to call, if the House permits, those functionary from the ministry to sit with the appropriate committee of the house to look into the problem that is existing within the abattoir system. Secondly, Mr. Speaker, I'm aware that we have provided adequate vet doctors for the inspection of animal that is being slaughtered in abattoirs. But we care less about the human beings that works there. They also record casualties. They do cuts by knife and cutlasses in the abattoirs. And it has implication also on the health of the people there. But there is no serious attempt in having, even if it is a small room, a small clinic for those who operate in the abattoir. And I think these are the area we should look into in amending the necessary things that is important in the abattoir. Otherwise, we may be addressing the issue of transporting system of the animal today, and tomorrow we'll be coming up with another motion in addressing the people that are working on the field. Thank you.
Attorney Bravo. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, please permit me to refer to an age-long adage that says you are what you eat. If you don't make your food your medicine, medicine will eventually become your food. This issue has to do with what is consumable and what is edible, what people take on a daily basis. Cattle meat is what is one of the staple food of Nigeria, one of the main sources of protein for our citizens. And we cannot take it for granted that whatever happens there does not affect everyone and sundry. Mr. Speaker, I remember vividly well, sir, that it was the government of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu that sought to organize and sanitize this question of abattoir management and operation in Lagos State. When Governor Fashola came in, he tried to improve on that by bringing the eco-meat van. All of a sudden, the eco-meat van seem to have disappeared. We don't seem to see them again. It's very unfortunate that in Nigeria, when we take one step forward, we take several backwards. And it's so sad that since the year 2000, that efforts have been made to sanitize and organize this sector, this subsector. It's like we are not really making any impactful propagation of it. Mr. Speaker, may I just say that one of the banes of Nigeria is ignorance or illiteracy. We don't seem to take cognizance of things that appear very significant, that are very important to us. In the abattoir itself, reports have it that that place is used largely for purposes that is not meant for. People live there. There are cinema houses there. There are prostitute hotels there. There are so many things happening in that place that maybe the Committee on Agriculture will need to make an inspection of that place to see what actually is happening there. As a matter of fact, we had reports that it was a den, breeding places for many crimes to be perpetrated in Lagos State. Mr. Speaker, let me submit, with due respect, that the image of our state is at stake. If people come from overseas and they see meat to be consumed, being transported openly in very unkempt manner, the aesthetics of that cause a lot of things to question. I will be adding my voice to the bill, to the motion, and to support the prime mover by saying that maybe the Committee on Agriculture has to take a holistic view and make a report to the House on the state of the abattoir and the mode of transportation to the end users market. Thank you very much, sir.
Honorable Lowo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My colleague, I appreciate the prime mover, but I have this to say that we want to reason with the likes of our Honorable Buliman and Honorable Buraimo. We should not put the cart before the horse. We're supposed to have adequate information and insight into what transpired in all the abattoirs. What we have here is just scanty. We have effective laws that guide the activities of our abattoirs. But how many abattoirs do we have in Lagos? Facility provided and patronage, and probably are these all standardized? Then what are the challenges and the insight? It is until when we get this information that we can now call on the Commissioner for Agriculture to give us information on what transpired and to tell them what to do. So I want to reason with them that the first thing we need to do is to call on the Committee on Agriculture to make an inspection tour of all the abattoirs in Lagos State and give us a feedback. It is then we can now call all the necessary ministries and their agents of government to tell them what we need to know. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Well, in my own opinion, I'm of the opinion that the sick animals and the dead ones that's a result of fatigue, maybe due to transportation, that usually were, given to people to eat. The veterinary doctors need to work heavily on it because it's so rampant in that aperture. Then secondly, sir, the traditional mode of killing cow, the ministry have provided equipment, and you discover that when you get there today, they have reverted to the old method. Then thirdly, sir, the mode of transportations. You discover that these people with Okada, when they carry this meat, if they fall or they fell down with the meat, they will still carry it back on their motorcycle and move to the community. And the area I want us to correct is the area where they said the meat inspectors should arrest them. Once the meat leaves the abattoirs, the meat inspector activities ends there. So maybe the vehicle inspectors or the last man or who agency or police should be the one to apprehend those motorbike riders with meats, because they've banned them. There were times that we have fans that convey this meat around Lagos State. But now you discover you don't see those fans again. What you see is Okada with meat. So maybe we draft the police, the house will decide, or whoever, so that whoever they see with meat on the motorbike should be arrested and be apprehended and give account. With that, we will reduce eating a poisonous meat. Then the kai, because the environment pollution, they used to what they call it, the skin. You will see them burning the skin. Then you see the waste management, the dumps. You see them, and it causes traffic on that road. So I think we need to bring them in, sir. Thank you very much. Miranda.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Well, my own observation is just like Honorable Lowe said earlier. Data is very key. We need to know how many abattoirs we have that we're talking about, and the committee also needs to be go for oversight inspection and see even the so-called illegal abattoirs. We need to know if we have some illegal abattoirs that has what it takes for the job. Let us look at it. If it's something we can accommodate them, as long as they have what it takes to do the job. That's very key. And I also think part of this law, the fine there is, to me, I think it's a little bit low. It's on the low side. We need to look at it and adjust the fine. It's necessarily not supposed, it might not be the monetary aspect. It might be closure of the abattoir for a certain period of time when people know that they're not going to work for a certain period of time. It's even much more important to their business, to them, than the monetary aspect of it. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I must thank the Prime Mover and all those who support this motion. Bringing in today is something that is beneficial to everybody in Lagos. However, I want the mover to look at paragraph K, where I say that prescribing the method of slaughter which are not remain. Is it prescribing or proscribing the method of slaughter which are not remain? I think it should be proscribing. It might be typo. Also, I want to say that in Lagos, I'm sure that there is only one functional abattoir which needs to be made hygienic and functional. It is there to be functional because it's not being used the way it's ought to be used. Also, what we have are slaughter slabs scattered around the state. We have slaughter slabs. And there is need for the ministry and the committee of this house to look at all of these slaughter slabs and see if they can be made functional, either to be upgraded to abattoir, to tell them the steps to be taken in upgrading these facilities. If they are not going to be upgraded and they are not safe for use for this meat for human consumption, I think they should be prescribed. But I think that what we have is not sufficient to take care of what we need in Lagos. So there is need for us to take a systemic view of what we have, all those quarters lab, and for the ministry to look at those that can be upgraded and make functional for the use of citizenry. Those will be my contribution. Thank you, sir.
Agumade, lastly.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I wish to commend the mover, also prime mover also, and commend the statistics relayed by the Honorable Gundimu, which provides us with a picture of the extent of consumption in the state on daily basis. Mr. Speaker, I wish to posit that law is not a proposal, but a command that must be obeyed. There are laws governing activities in the abattoir. Are these activities in line with the law? Mr. Speaker, while I concur with some of us calling for the ministry to do its job, I think the job has gone beyond the ministry this time around. I wish to this motion as whistleblowing for us to take action and investigate the activities in the aperture, juxtapose it with extant law, and see if there is compliance or deviation. The law itself, do we have the law still being effective in its operation with the present trend of activities in the chamber? It is in that line, Mr. Speaker, that I will be suggesting that to show our commitment to the health of the people we have raised, a further step should be for us, Mr. Speaker, to maybe enlarge the committee of the agri, or we have ad hoc committee to commence immediate investigation of activities in the abattoir, call the ministry where necessary to listen to them, come with a report that will enhance us the capacity whether to amend this law or to see further inclusion or improvement to be made into it. A stitch in time, they say saves life. And this motion is a very good one. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Well, I want to thank you all for your contributions, and I think you've really exposed the problems we have in our abattoirs around Lagos. We have a law in place, and I'm sure the law is adequate enough. And for those who suggested that there should be a decentralization, we have it in the law. There is a section in the law that allows private sector to create or have their own private abattoirs to operate side by side with the government's own abattoirs. So we have everything that we need, and it has just been mentioned that the state government also provided for modern equipment. But there's something missing in using, or rather in consideration of modern equipment. There's need for us to also consider the faith when it comes to religion matter of others as well. You talk about those who believe in halal and not, the other things. Some will not eat meat that is not being slaughtered according to their own their faith. So we have to look at all these things, and we have to look at why is it being so difficult for private investors to take part in these activities. And we have to look at it why those who are operating now in the older abattoir have refused to make use of modern equipment. This, we don't have adequate information. So I'll be suggesting that we step down this motion while we empower the committee of the House to go out on oversight and investigate activities of what we have on ground now. Well, it is on this note that we call on the Committee on Agriculture to carry out oversight function on all both government abattoirs and the private one, so we can have adequate information before we decide what to do. Honorable Makinde, I'm sure he's the chairman of the grid, and his team, please, we give you 2 weeks to report back to this House. Thank you. Yeah, the last item on other paper is presentation of reports. I'm going to seek or order that we suspend the presentation to give members opportunity to go through the bill. I'm just receiving the bill, and I don't believe there is enough time to have gone through the bill so we can make useful contributions. So we will suspend the presentation for now and fix another date for it so that members can have time to go through them. And I'll take this moment as well to appeal to all the committee chairmen to turn in their reports. I'm appealing, and I'll ask majority leader to please give me the list of those who are still having an assignment with them so we can take proper action on them. Majority leader.
Mr. Speaker, sequel to your pronouncement, may I humbly ask for permission to move that House of Assembly Bill number 50, presentation of report on Lagos State Tourism Promotion Agency Bill 2018 be stepped down till another day. I so move.
Honorable Lulade.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise to second the motion as properly moved.
All in favor say ayes. Those against nay. The ayes have it. Yeah, majority leader.
With the approval of the Right Honorable Speaker, may I move that this House adjourns till Thursday, the 18th day of this month at 10 o'clock. I so move.
Honorable Lowo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise to support the motion as moved.
All in favor say ayes. Those against nay. The ayes have it. This House stands adjourned till Thursday, 18 October 2018 at 10 a.m. prompt. I rise.